So, first, I want us to look at how to help someone in shock. So, what do you do? If you're a follower of Christ, you're called to be a difference maker and help people in their struggle with the pain of shock. Galatians chapter 6, verse 2 says, by helping each other with your troubles, you truly obey the law of Christ. And what is the law of Christ? Love your neighbor as yourself. Now, anytime you help somebody in shock, guess what you're doing? You're loving your neighbor as yourself. Now, how do you help someone who's in shock? Well, the first thing you do is you show up. Pretty easy. All you have to do is show up. You don't stand on the sidelines and pretend that they don't need your help or you're somehow waiting for an invitation. That's not going to work. But what do I say when I get there? Are you ready for these great pearls of wisdom here? This mind-blowing answer? You don't have to say anything. In fact, it would be better if you just show up and say nothing. Difference makers call it the ministry of presence. You don't wait for an invitation. You ask the Holy Spirit to bring his comforting presence on you, and you show up.
The story in the Bible about Job gives difference makers a good model to study what to do and what not to do with people in shock. What made Job's story even more powerful is in the fact of how much his life he lost in just one day. He lost his health, his wealth, his entire family to a group of terrorists. I believe you'll probably never meet anyone who's experienced that level of shock. So you can trust that these healing lessons will work for everyone in any situation. Here's what happened in Job chapter 2. When Job's 3 friends heard about all the troubles that had come upon him, they set out from their homes and met together by agreement to go and sympathize with him and comfort him.
Though Job's friends will fumble the ball later in the story, I want you to look at some of these powerful things that they did right. Here we see they were responding like true friends. What do true friends do? They didn't wait to be invited. They said, our friend Job is in pain, and we're going to bring him comfort. Here is the first important truth about shock. When people are in deep pain and shock, they don't need your words. They need your touch. Someone who will put their hand on their back, someone that will hug them, someone that'll even cry with them. It's okay to bring your own emotions and cry with them. These touches create an invitation of healing for people in shock and allows them to freely cry as much as and as often as needed. Trying to say the right things is a risky endeavor, folks, because you're just guessing on what that person is feeling at that moment, and you're often going to get the wrong answer.
The second thing you do with a person in shock, you share their pain. Job chapter 2, verses 12 through 13, Job's friends saw him from a distance, and they began to weep aloud. They hadn't even got to him yet, and they were already crying. And they tore their robes and sprinkled dust on their heads. This is a Middle Eastern custom that told people, we are feeling your pain with you. Then they sat on the ground with him for 7 days and 7 nights, and no one said a word to him. Now that's a friend. Have you ever sat with anybody in shock for a day without saying a word? I doubt it. These men sat 7 days and nobody said a word. But here is what they did. They saw how great his suffering was.
Here is the golden rule for people in shock. The greater the grief, the fewer words needed. If you get a splinter, you can talk all day, but if they lost a loved one, you just need to be quiet. Be there to practice the ministry of presence.